accepted that it's not possible to be a little bit heretical. There may even be people in this room who...
Please read.
Now, do you want me to read the quotations as well?
You may indeed.
Okay. Well, he wants... but I really feel soon we should make room for it.
Make room for these people.
Well, it's my chapter 5, which says the metaphysical claims of religion are false, a bold statement. And I front it with 4 quotations. 1, I am a man of one book. That's Thomas Aquinas. We sacrifice the intellect to God. That's Ignatius Loyola. Reason is the devil's harlot, who can do naught but slander and harm whatever God says and does. That's, as you all know, Martin Luther. And then shifting to someone with real culture and sensitivity, and I must add, a love for Christianity, the faith from which he was excluded by his own personal desires, W.H. Auden, in a beautiful poem called The More Loving One. Looking up at the stars, I know quite well that for all they care, I can go to hell.
I think that's...
How long do you want? That's it?
I think
okay.
that's...
Well, it's been very nice for you to be our prisoner.
I assume that it's your anti-faith point of view that caused you to support the war in Iraq. Is there a danger in being heretically anti-religious as fanatically for religion?
Well, your assumption is not radically but very slightly mistaken. I mean, my view was that Slobodan Milosevic, the Taliban, Saddam Hussein, the Rwandan genocidaire, the Hutu power forces, and others were eventually radically incompatible, both with the rule of law internationally and with the principles of the United States Constitution and with the values that we hold most dear. There would have to be a confrontation with them sooner or later. It didn't occur to me to present this in a religious light or a faith-based light of any kind. No. So I can't agree with the grammar of your question. That the parties of God were on the wrong side of all this, in each case, would certainly be true. And I have a long section in my book about why that's so. But I could not possibly say that I was in favor of overthrowing Milosevic or Saddam Hussein because I'm an atheist. That would be absurd, I think. It would certainly sound bizarre to me. It's just there's a radical incompatibility between totalitarian expansionist dictatorship and our survival. I wish more people realized that was so.
Someone in this section. I'm going to move across. No? Here. There's a gentleman here. Sure.
Oh, was that a complete waste of my breath? All that? It's lovely to think that all that was wasted on the desert air. Gotcha. Oh, shit, now it's full on that. I just thought I had a carrying voice. Hey.
Hi, how are you?
Too soon to tell.
Enjoyed the talk.
Now can you hear me? Yeah.
Yes, thank you. I'm a believer, so I have a...
Believer in what?
Well, it doesn't matter, but...
That's what I think.
They're here. So I'll take you up on that
Look,
challenge.
I didn't plant this guy. I mean, I promise you. Daddy, I told you not to do this.
So I'll take you up on your little challenge. So my problem with the...
do it briskly, if you don't mind.
Okay, sure. With your argument as well as the atheist argument, which I'll call the objectivist argument, if that's okay.
No, it's not.
Okay, well, let's say...
I'm not a Randian.
Okay, well, according to... From what I've
Do I
heard
look like a Randian?
What I've heard you say... No, not at all, actually.
Atlas slumped.
Right. The problem with what I hear you saying, and also what I've read in like in Dawkins' book, is that the problem with denying religion in its entirety is that, to me, there's an aspect that none of us can deny, believer or not, to ourselves that's boundless, right? If someone were to knock me on the back of the head, they could take out a lung, arm, whatever, or not even touch me, and without any conscious, objective reason, I'm going to be here. I'm going to be okay. And so it seems to me that that aspect of boundless is something that we need to deal with. Science doesn't deal with it, or can't deal with it yet, because it's tied up with consciousness and our very being. And it seems to me that religion is the province that, however ineptly it happens, however ineptly they're doing it, deals with that aspect of boundlessness within us all and every object around us. We're all part of the universe. So how do you reconcile to that, or deal with that question?
It's for me, right?
No.
Well, I can tell you, well, okay. If they keep taking those limbs and lungs away from you, by the way, it won't go on all that fantastically long. And even if they don't, and all your sound and wind and limb, as we used to say, those were, in fact, the precise words, it still won't go on that terrifically long. It just isn't. And we live on a very small planet in a very minor solar system on the very edge of a gigantic galaxy where the remainder of the planets, just in our own solar system, are either too fucking hot or too sodding cold to support life of any kind, as is true of very great swathes of our own planet, which is on a climatic knife edge, if we didn't know before, we know now. So to say that this is the center of the universe and the whole objective of the cosmos is to produce this conversation is an extraordinarily self-centered thing to do, it seems to me. And also doesn't, in return for its self-centeredness, which might be excused in the Randian terms, at least let's think we're gods. At least let's believe that we are the most beautifully charismatic sex maniacs who have ever appeared on any planet. Doesn't yield any knowledge. Doesn't help us in the least to clarify anything. No, I think we would do much better to understand our place in the cosmos. And I think if we did, we'd turn to each other with a little more respect and concern and compassion and understanding. And maybe to the people who we found are spliced into our own DNA as well, having this wonderful sequencing, having abolished racism and creationism at one stroke, I regard that as a huge step forward, I must say, to understand one's kinship with all other humans, with some other animals, even with vegetables and plants. It doesn't make me feel worse, it makes me feel better. It also makes me feel I know where I am, which the other stuff simply doesn't. So I wouldn't trade that for any of your pseudo-universality. Sorry.
Why don't we hear this gentleman?
Well, thank you all very much for a very profound dialogue about what I see to be about tyranny versus human freedom in the mind and the spirit.
Yes, we know who made his points, huh?
But both a man of faith and a man not of faith have completely slurped up the new civic myth and religion, which we identified as GWAT, the Global War on Terror. So let's look at the myth. You right?
Is there a question?
Yes.
Please?
So
Okay, good question. Quickly.
Being that anyone with moral and intellectual fortitude who looks at the evidence of that day sees that no Al-Qaeda jihadi had the means to schedule the war games that actually stood down
Hold it right there.
No. Yeah, that's not right.
Being that any
Wasting your time.
Being that any member of Al-Qaeda had no motive to anthrax the leading opponents of the Patriot Act.
Wasting your time. I'm not going to answer you.
Why won't you answer?
You can speak.
So here's the question.
You can
Being
speak.
that you are an intellectual and now that
You
are...
can speak. I'm not bothering with you.
Why?
I have no time to waste on people like you. Stop it. I can't make you stop. But when you stop, it's all over. Okay?
Are you going to answer me?
No, sir, I'm not.
So you believe it? Do you believe
No, sir, I am not. No. Nor am I going to buy. I'm not going to buy a pencil from your cup either. No, I'm not. That's correct. I'm not.
Way in the back there, the gentleman way in the back. Thank you.
Good evening.
That was a big wow from a small mind. Forget it. I have no time to waste on people like you.
Very.
What kind of person am I?
Don't.
He's insulting me. He's insulting me. I can't respond to
No, leave him alone. Leave him alone as long as he stays quiet. He had his turn. You heard his question.